Welcome to the True Buddha with You podcast. We are so glad you could join us today for a really fascinating look into one of the biggest dramas in the spiritual cosmos. A special hello to all our fellow practitioners listening in from Seattle and over on the east side. It's great to have you with us.
It is, and today's topic is a big one.
It really is. We are exploring that enduring celestial rivalry, the constant, endless war between the Asuras and the heavenly beings, the Devas, and their main battleground is the magnificent Mount Meru.
Right. But we're not just telling an old story here. Our mission today is to frame this, this cosmic soap opera, really, as a practical spiritual lesson for all of us.
A lesson in what, exactly?
A lesson in what happens when you have all this positive karma, all this good fortune, but you fail to deal with the basics. Things like anger, jealousy, and especially pride. Those are the things that block real wisdom, the Dharma, from taking root.
Okay, so let's unpack that. For anyone who might be a little newer to this cosmology, the universe is often divided into 6 realms of existence. You have the hell realm, hungry ghost, animal, human, and then up at the top, the heavenly realm. But squeezed right in there is the Asura realm, and it's the odd one out, isn't it?
It's totally unique because it's a complete paradox of virtue. I mean, these beings, they have immense fortune. They have incredible enjoyments, opulent palaces. They live a lot like the heavenly beings themselves.
So why aren't they in the heavenly realm?
Because in their past lives, while they did all these good deeds, they practiced the 5 precepts, the 10 good deeds, they built up huge spiritual rewards.
And put the spiritual credit in the bank, so to speak.
Absolutely. But, and this is the key, their defining trait is this intense combativeness, this deep-seated jealousy and just crippling anger. They gain the rewards, but they never purified their hearts.
So they have the fortune, but not the wisdom.
Exactly. And that tension is what defines their entire realm. The moment they got power, their pride and their love of fighting just took over.
That distinction is so critical. And their origin story, it really reflects that inner chaos, doesn't it? The descriptions are truly wild.
They are. The sources say the very first Asura was born from the water essence of a heavenly being who was bathing in the ocean. This created a monstrous egg.
An egg.
An egg. And when it hatched, thousands of years later, out comes this incredible multi-limbed, multi-headed female monster. It's a sign of a completely non-human, chaotic beginning.
And the Asura kings who came from that, like Vimalasitra, are described in a similar way, grotesque, powerful.
Right. And we should probably pause on the strange gender split here. The male Asuras are almost always described as ugly, just frighteningly grotesque.
Flip the females.
The females are famous for their incredible, almost irresistible beauty. It's a very, very dramatic contrast.
It really speaks to that chaotic nature you mentioned.
Yeah.
Power and beauty all mixed up with this deep spiritual darkness.
Yes, and that paradox is perfectly embodied in maybe the most famous Asura, Rahu.
Ah, Rahu. The one who supposedly causes solar and lunar eclipses by, covering the sun and moon?
That's the one. His backstory explains his fall perfectly. He was a Brahmin, and he earned this massive amount of merit by saving a sacred tower. A truly virtuous act.
Okay, so far so good.
But the sources tell us he was just too argumentative, too proud of what he'd done. He lacked real, humble faith. So even though he did this great thing, it was poisoned by his need to argue, his contention. And because of that, he fell straight to the Asura realm.
Wow. So a great act is only as pure as the heart behind it. If you're doing it to prove you're better than everyone else, you're already on the wrong path.
That's the takeaway. Accumulated goodness can't fix a heart that loves to fight.
Which brings us to the wars. The Asuras are constantly battling the 33 heavens, led by the celestial king, Indra. What is driving these massive conflicts? Because there are 2 very different stories about how it all started.
That's right. And both of them boil down to different flavors of petty jealousy and wounded pride. The first one is, it's pure marital strife.
The celestial king married the daughter of the Asura king, Vimalasitra, his beautiful daughter.
He did. But you have to remember, the celestial king lives in the desire heaven, a realm where desire is still a pretty powerful force.
Yeah.
And the story goes that he saw another beautiful lady in his garden and got a little distracted.
And I'm guessing the daughter of an Asura king is not someone you want to scorn.
Not at all. Her reaction was pure Asura, just fueled by this intense jealousy, this outrage. She immediately ran and told her father what her husband did.
Oof.
The Asura king was enraged, his daughter was scorned, his honor was insulted, and that spat, driven by the daughter's jealousy and the father's pride, was enough to trigger the First Great War.
Incredible. A cosmic battle rooted in family drama. And the second story is, if anything, even more ridiculous.
It truly is. This version says the war started when the Asura king was throwing a huge birthday party for himself in his kingdom under the sea.
The big celebration.
Massive. And right in the middle of it, the celestial king's magnificent chariot with all his heavenly troops flies directly overhead in the sky.
So, a cosmic flyover. No RSVP, no heads up.
Exactly. And the Asura king just loses it. He doesn't see it as an accident. He sees it as a profound, deliberate insult. His pride is shattered. He's thinking, who dares violate my airspace without permission?
Wow.
And that perceived disrespect, that sensitivity over a flyby, was enough for him to mobilize his entire army. So a jealous daughter or a cosmic traffic violation. Either way, the war starts because of hypersensitivity and anger.
Before we continue this discussion on celestial rivalry, we want to recognize the incredibly important work of our sponsor, SY Collective Charity. They are committed to raising funds for Seattle Children's Hospital's Uncompensated Care Unit, which provides essential assistance to families struggling with pediatric medical bills. We are proud to share that in the third quarter of 2025 alone, SY Collective raised $4,000 for this critical cause. To learn more about how you can support their vital efforts, please visit sycollective.org. Okay, we're back. The Asuras are mobilized, they're angry, and the sources say they were initially just devastating. They almost completely overran the heavenly realm. So how do the heavenly beings, who are more about bliss and enjoyment, survive an onslaught of pure aggression?
They win by changing the rules of the game. They win not with more force, but with superior wisdom. They shift the battle from the physical to the spiritual.
What does that look like in practice?
Well, in that first great battle, the Celestial King realized brute force wasn't working. He remembered what the Buddha taught him, and he immediately started to invoke the mantra of the perfection of wisdom.
The perfection of wisdom. That's a deep concept. The understanding that everything is empty of a solid, independent self. How does reciting a mantra about that stop a physical army in its tracks?
Because that wisdom is the direct antidote to the Asura's problem. Their whole attack is based on ignorance, on this powerful belief in a solid self that has been insulted. The mantra cuts right through that delusion.
And it had a visible effect.
Instant and dramatic. As the mantra filled the air, 4 great spinning swords made of Dharma light manifested in the sky. And these spiritual weapons were so powerful, they threatened to just sever the Asura king's limbs.
Wow.
He and his entire army were terrified. They were forced to flee.
And this is the best part. They retreat and hide inside the tiny pores of a lotus root under the ocean.
I know. From cosmic superpower to hiding in a vegetable, it just shows how fast pride shatters when it's confronted with real truth.
But that wasn't the only time Dharma saved the day, was it?
Not at all. In another conflict, the Celestial King went directly to the Buddha himself for help. He basically asked for protection from this constant harassment.
And the Buddha responded with the ultimate weapon, his own enlightened mind.
Exactly. The Buddha emitted this brilliant, radiant light from his top knot, and from that light manifested the Great White Parasol Deity. She's a supreme protector, 1,000 arms, 1,000 eyes, holding this pure white parasol.
A physical manifestation of compassionate power.
Yes. And the amazing thing is, she didn't even have to fight. She simply spoke a counterspell, a powerful protective mantra.
And that was enough.
That was it. The sound of the mantra alone caused the Asuras to retreat in terror. It proves the ultimate defense isn't a weapon. It's alignment with higher wisdom. Both stories tell us the same thing. The real solution to conflict, inside or out, is the protective power of the Dharma.
Okay, let's bring this home. We're not hopefully dodging spinning Dharma swords in our daily lives. These are allegories for the inner conflicts, for what you call the Asura heart. So what does that look like for us today?
This is the most crucial part for any of us on a spiritual path. Even if you practice diligently, you keep precepts, you do good deeds, you hit spiritual milestones, you are still vulnerable.
How so?
Because when you mix good works with arrogance, you create the spiritual cancer of pride. The danger isn't that you'll stop doing good things. The danger is that you'll start taking pride in them and your heart capacity just shrinks.
Can you give us some concrete examples? What are the characteristics of a spiritual Asura in the modern world?
Well, it really manifests as this deep intolerance, a focus on the small self. A person with an Asura heart is just utterly convinced that they are right and everyone else is wrong. They become rigid.
I think we've all met people like that.
Right. They can't tolerate different opinions, and this is key. They can't change their own behavior or accept any kind of criticism, even when it's obvious they're in the wrong. They're doing good things, sure, but their mind isn't expansive.
And you see this tragically reflected whenever groups, even spiritual religious groups, become really divisive.
Precisely. The moment a group starts saying, our path is the only truth, or our master is the only real one, and they label everyone else as false or evil, that aggressive, self-righteous certainty that is the Asura world manifesting, even if they're chanting mantras all day.
Their practice has been poisoned.
Poisoned by pride. They're getting merit, but they're losing compassion. The goal has to be the exact opposite of that state.
Which is?
An expansive heart, softness, compassion, real self-humility. A true master embraces what we call the greater self, the self that is aligned with universal truth. And that self can tolerate and encompass all beings, all paths. True greatness comes from that alignment, not from being better than someone else.
So that's the core lesson. The Asura Realm isn't just some place out there in the cosmos. It's a state of mind. It's what happens when we let our good deeds get poisoned by the very things the Dharma is meant to cure. Pride, jealousy, and anger. We have to constantly check our own heart capacity. So we want to leave you with one final question to think about. We've talked of pride, jealousy, and anger as the three big flaws of the Asura path. So based on our talk today, we want to ask you, what specific daily habit do you think is the hardest to keep in check in your life to prevent the Asura heart from growing? Pride, jealousy, or anger? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining us for this analysis. May you find wisdom, maintain your humility, and always keep your heart truly expansive.
And may the Dharma protect you always. Om Guru Lian Sheng Siddhi Hum.